Hello and welcome to the Local Business Doctor series. My name's Lorraine of District 32. We've partnered with Wanneroo Business Association and West TV to bring you a local business series where we highlight the everyday problems of local business owners here in Perth. Our business of focus today is Suzanne Keating from General Psychology Services. Welcome Suzanne, thank you for coming into the studio.
Thank you for having me, Lorraine.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
So thank you for joining us on our show today. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So Suzanne, General Psychology Services. Give us a little bit of background and insights into what it is that you actually do.
The General Psychology Service has been around for about 4.5 years now, and we provide mental health support for children, adults, adolescents, just around general mental health issues that they may be experiencing.
So mental health, you know, it's always many shades of grey, or I think it's many shades of grey. I mean, who actually comes to see a psychologist and says, I have a mental health problem, can you help me? You know, is that, what is the usually approach, or what's the door for people?
I've never had anyone say that they've had a mental health issue. Can you help me? It's always the first. Mental health should be viewed like your physical health. So you go to the GP because you're feeling unwell, not because you're seriously sick. It's the same with mental health. You should be going to your GP with mental health issues before they become really entrenched issues. So who would we see? We'd see people who have anxiety issues, depression, parents who are struggling, couples who are struggling. So it's just a really wide range of issues. Now we work with children and adults. We're seeing more and more young people coming in.
So I can understand that, you know, as a parent, you can look for signals or changes in your child. And, you know, as an adult, we can look for signals and changes. But when do people actually know when the line is being crossed? What do we have to look out for in ourselves or our children?
Depends on the issue that you're presenting with, and I think a lot of people will go first to their GP. Statistics will tell us that 1 in 3 people who present to their GP are actually presenting with mental health issues and not physical issues at all. So, but they don't realise that, and they go to the GP and they say, I can't sleep, I'm having trouble eating, I'm getting headaches, I'm having stomach upsets, my child isn't sleeping, or my child is having major tantrums, and that's what they present with. And then hopefully if you've got a really good GP, they're going to realise that's mental health, and they're going to make a referral.
You're on the Business Doctor Show.
Yes.
You are looking for some advice around some issues that we can share later on when we meet the business doctors. But tell me a little bit about your practice now, how you operate, you know, what's the aim?
So I've been a practitioner for many years, and I set up my own practice about 4 years ago, where I was working independently as a psychologist. And what I seen was that you can really be more effective for clients if you're working collaboratively with other allied health professionals, like speech pathologists, occupational therapists, doctors, that sort of. So we have a team around you when you're working with a client. So what I've started to do now is collaborate with other professionals and place psychologists into different clinics so that we can deliver a much better service.
So collaboration is really important for you?
Yes, yes. Yep, it's a much better way. For my clients, it's a much better way. I mean, if I'm worried about a client who is depressed or suicidal, I can just go next door and talk to the GP and say, listen, what's happening here? We need to get this person seen. And
did you have someone here today that you were going to help explain that?
Yes.
Or talk about that?
So we actually provide this service from a speech pathology clinic in Joondalup, TLC Speech Pathology, and Diana Chivers has come along, because I thought it might be better to get her perspective to see what it's like as somebody working from the clinic, to tell you the benefits of multidisciplinary working.
So Diana, thank you very much for being part of our show today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming along. Now, we've just been listening to Suzanne Keating of General Psychology Services. And she's here to get some advice from the business doctors on how to grow her business.
Right.
And part of that is around placing psychologists into multidisciplinary clinics and collaborating with different bodies for the benefit of the client, for the business, for the organisation.
Yeah.
And she thought it would be a great idea if you would explain that to us. So where is it you're from? It's TLCWA?
Yep.
Could you let us know what that is, first of all?
TLCWA was founded 23 years ago by 2 speech pathologists, Helen and Sandy, and over the years it's grown exponentially, and we're now in Joondalup. We have 12 speech pathologists, 2 occupational therapists, dietitian, and psychology services supplied by Suzanne. And it's fantastic because it means when a client comes through the door, we're not just offering speech pathology services, we also have the ability to refer on within the clinic. And that helps the client considerably in terms of ensuring continuity of care, that we know who we're referring on to, that we're able to provide a service to the client that encompasses their needs as a whole. So it's a really holistic approach and really important for a client.
So you're all riding on each other's background, experience, skills, knowledge to help the client.
Yep.
Also, I think it's going to be really important then for the client. You know, if I'm coming in to see you and you're referring me to someone else, it might be a little bit daunting for me to leave and make another appointment and go to another clinic, rather than here's the friendly psychologist next door.
Exactly.
That we're referring you to.
Yeah, and oftentimes, you know, if I feel I need to refer on, then if Suzanne's in the building, for example, and she's not with a client, then I'll actually get her to come in and meet the family and that client at the time of referral.
Wow.
So that means they immediately know the face that they're going to be seeing, and Suzanne and I can talk about that case, and so the handover is really solid. It's fantastic, and we learn so much. I mean, I've learned so much about psychology, occupational therapy, dietetics. It's a really great way to work, and our practice has grown.
Listen, thank you very much. I think you've explained it wonderfully, and I now completely understand the benefits. You know, 'cause especially for Suzanne, who's looking for a reference for her business doctors on why it's important that multi-disciplinary collaboration approach is working for everyone. They can get a really good understanding. So, thank you very much for being part of it, and thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
So Suzanne, it was really great to hear from Diana earlier, because she really puts the collaborative working in context, and it's really important for where you want to go with your business, particularly in respect of placing psychologists into different clinics. So again, we are here on the Business Doctor Show. They are going to answer some questions for you, but what are your challenges that you would really like them to home in on today?
The model of placing psychologists into clinics, we started that about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And we placed a number of psychologists into GP clinics around Perth.
Okay.
One of the problems that we were having was buy-in from the GPs within the clinic. So the GP who owns the clinic, so they bought in.
Okay.
Because they're getting a revenue stream from
So they're all privately owned, most clinics?
Yeah. And each doctor who's working in them, or clinician, depending on the different clinics, they're all private practitioners basically, working underneath this model. So when we were placing psychologists in there, we were looking for those other clinicians to refer to us, whether it was a GP, whether it was OT, whether it was speech pathologist. We're looking for them to refer in to the psychology service, and equally we referred to them as well through our clinic. So one of the problems that we had was actually getting buy-in from the clinicians around us, the team, getting buy-in from the team around us to refer into the clinic, into the psychology service.
So why was that, do you think?
There was a number of factors. So one of the factors was that some of the GPs already had relationships with psychologists outside of the clinic, and it's just habit, literally it's habit. They just refer to the same psychologist. I mean, some of them would have had working relationships where they knew this person, individually knew the psychologist and kind of had a trusted relationship. Others that didn't. It was just another psychologist that they'd normally refer to, so they just keep sending it out. Some clinicians, some of the GPs were referring to bulk bill services and thought that might be an obstacle around referring into our psychologists. So yeah, they were the kind of barriers that we were finding.
What are the issues then with the psychologist? What is it? What are the problems around that?
We really needed to be careful with the psychologists that we recruit. Most psychologists aren't business people. They're not. You know, they're psychologists, and we know the world of psychology, and we don't know the world of business. And while people think that having a private practice is a great idea, they don't necessarily have the business mind behind that. So that's what a lot of them face when they go in to try to be a private practitioner. So one of the things that we were looking for with the psychologist that we took on board was someone who wanted to build a practice. So they weren't walking into a full practice, we were building that practice with them. And they wanted to be kind of entrepreneurial in that way. But we also put a big emphasis on the type of person we wanted. They had to fit into our team. They had to be willing to work within a team because they were part of the GPS team, and that there was a particular type of people that we were looking for that would fit in there.
So if I could just recap then, the problems there are finding the right kind of psychologists who would like to build a business around it, and also finding clients for them.
Yeah, marketing around that.
Right, okay. So is that in totality then the advice that you would like from the business doctors today? GP buy-in for referrals and changing a little bit of their mindset, finding the right kind of psychologist or with the right mindset who's also looking to be an entrepreneur, and also in marketing to help get clients for your place psychologists.
If we could get that done today, I'd be very happy.
Well, that sounds like a whole heap of problems being solved.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Bring the doctors on.
I mean, this is a really good opportunity for someone to commercialise psychology. This is a good business opportunity.
Essentially, it's a sales process. And if you had hit and miss, that tells me what needs to occur. You need to refine that sales process.
I don't know what a refined sales process means.